let's get underway, please. I'd like to welcome everybody, councillors and the gallery, to this ordinary council meeting of the 27th of September 2023. Could I call upon Councillor Gadders to read the civic affirmation?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We, the councillors of the Armidale region, declare that we will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of our community and faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in us to the best of our skill and judgment.
Thank you, Councillor Gadders. And could I call upon Councillor Witters to do an acknowledgement of country? Welcome to country.
Yeah, just on behalf of Armidale Regional Council, I'd like to pay respects to the ancestors and also my countrymen and countrywomen of the traditional lands on the grounds that we meet on. That'll do for the moment.
Thank you, Councillor Witters. And could I call upon the Acting General Manager to make a statement regarding live streaming? Councillor Witters, could you...
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The meeting is being audio and video recorded, and the recordings of the non-confidential parts of the meeting will be made available on the internet. No other persons are permitted to record the meeting unless specifically authorised by council to do so. And can we ask all those present, please ensure your mobiles are turned off or switched to silent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Acting General Manager. Councillors, I'd like to bring forward three items. Item 7.1 being the election of the Mayor and Deputy Mayor. Item 9.3, which is in relation to 121 Butler Street. And item 12.1, which is the notice of motion relating to the welcome signage. Could I have a mover for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Robinson, and a seconder is Councillor McMichael. All those in favour? Thank you. All right, well, I will vacate the seat and leave it to fate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillors, I've assumed the role of Chair and Returning Officer for the purpose of conducting an election of Mayor and Deputy Mayor in accordance with the local government regulation. As Returning Officer, I have received one nomination for the position of Mayor from Councillor Copeland. Councillor Copeland, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Councillor Copeland. Can I call for any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor Copeland has been elected Mayor for the period up to 14th September 2024. Congratulations, Councillor Copeland. Councillors, I've received one nomination for the position of Deputy Mayor. That is from Councillor Todd Redwood. Councillor Redwood, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Councillors, are there any other nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor? There being no more nominations, councillors, I declare Councillor Redwood elected Deputy Mayor to the period 14th September 2024. Congratulations, Councillor Redwood.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to be back. Now, in all seriousness, thank you to my fellow councillors for the endorsement to continue on as Mayor. We actually have made some huge strides as a council in this term. There is no denying that. A number of things stand out for me. One is the huge decision that we made as a council to put our region on a secure financial footing. That was a big one. That was contentious, but that set our region up. We've also secured our water supply with the acquisition of Oakey Dam, and the work, as you know, is underway to raise the dam wall of Malpas with an expected completion of 2026. More will unfold to the general public regarding some of the strategic planning that we have done to ensure housing supply to take into account all the growth that our region is going to go through. Last month, we moved to put on public exhibition the community benefit sharing framework, which is something that's really unique given that we are in the centre of the renewable energy zone, and that will allow intergenerational benefit. And I note that there is an item today regarding the New England Future Fund. And so we have done big things as a council in the past 20 months, and I thank you all for your input. I thank you for reaffirming me to be the mayor. There's a lot more to do, and I think there'll be a lot of great things to come. So on that happy note, let's jump to item 9.3, which is it's up on the screen, DA 22, 2020, or DA 33, 20, whatever it is. It's related to 121 Butler Street. So it concerns a development application for 121 Butler Street, and we have heard two objectors in the Have Your Say forum. Details of this are from page 31 of the agenda and page 41 of the attachment. There is a recommendation on the screen that council consent to granting the development application. Can I have a mover for this, please? Thank you, Councillor Witters, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Gadders. Councillor Witters, anything you might want to say in relation to it?
Yeah, I missed Monday's GM briefing, so if I'm repeating something that was said then, I apologise. This application, originally from my understanding, and Acting General Manager Boyce can correct me if I'm wrong, fit in the standard of that the council operational side were to look after it. We received some submissions from some of the people that spoke today and other people, and it was requested to come to council for a determination by 3 councillors. Reading through the attachments, I note that this application has met all the standards required, which is what we have to base our decision off. You take the emotion out of it and determine on whether the guidelines have been met. I note, listening to the speakers earlier, that that part of town is once again becoming vibrant with different shops and different things like that. I recall my time going to school at Drummond over there. In my time over there, there was the corner store on the corner of across the road from the Grand Hotel. That's Ohio and Rusden. Then you had the Grand Hotel, and next to the Grand Hotel, you had another corner store, which I think was then a hairdresser and something else. From you old fellas might be able to remember it. And then you went down to, at the time, it was called the 11 p.m. shop. And then also around the corner near Lambert Park, you had the Rusden Street shop. Beatty Street, sorry. There was a shop in Beatty Street. You had the Railway Hotel. You had Neville's nearby. The hospital kiosk was going fairly strong at the time as well. So previously there has been a fair bit of, you also had Net and Pops, which was the Niagara Street store down there as well in that area. So that area has had competition in there before, and they seem to, granted it was back in the day when corner shops were fairly popular, but they seem to thrive altogether at one point. So taking into consideration that this motion has to be voted on whether the standards have been met, not on off a motion, and I would support what the council have said in approving the application.
Thank you, Councillor Witters. Councillor Gadders, anything to say?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just briefly, I'd like to also thank those that were in the Have Your Say session. It's always good to hear multiple points of view. Similarly to Councillor Witters, I believe that the determination of a development application is based on the merits of the planning guidelines, and the planning team have a whole lot more experience and know-how of those guidelines than myself. Unfortunately, the world, in reality, there is competition out there. However, the planning guidelines are not swayed by the level of competition. I suspect that the new person setting up in this new location, being a new business, has got a heck of a lot of competition ahead of him by those that are already established. So, I feel it's going to come down to the reality of that. But in terms of the determination of the DA, I think that's fairly black and white. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gatters. Anyone else? Councillor Gillespie.
I'd like to speak against this this motion, please. I'll give you my recollection of this, the starting of this back in last term. So we've been here about 18 months, so it must have been about 2 years ago. It was brought to my attention that there was work going on at 121 Butler Street. There'd been machines in there digging stuff up, knocking a tree down and such. And also in chatting about it, I'd been told that there was doubt whether there was a development application put in for this work to be done. So I darted down here and asked one of the head staff of the town planning, what's going on there? Has there been a DA put in for that? And he said, no, there hasn't. And I said, well, we better put an end to this because it's illegal, isn't it? And he said, there's not a thing we can do. So that was all those years ago. Since there's obviously that building has been there's been major works done to it and more work to come to it. Ethically, I have a lot of problems with the way this was handled. Not with our staff. Our current staff have had, all they've been doing is what we've asked them to do is be fair-minded and do your best you can for businesses starting up or anyone that wants to come invest in Armidale. Please welcome them with open arms and make sure we don't make the job harder for them, which was what was. Last term, we were renowned for making it harder for anyone wanting to come here, and that's why they all went to Tamworth. So everyone knew about that. But ethically, I think this developer has done the wrong thing. He's gone in and done exactly whatever he wants to, and there's been other business people over the years that do the right thing by kept doing it, going through the right processes and setting it up right. I'll vote against this because I find it fairly unethical the way this has been done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gillespie. Councillor McMichael.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Look, I too am going to vote against this motion. I think my councillors for their comments. I understand it's zoned correctly and I appreciate what the staff have said. However, I look at the various things that we can look at as councillors, and two of them are submissions that have been received and also the public interest. This is not as big as Central, whatever we want to call the business, but it is a small thing like Centro, and if we have too many coffee shops in too many places, then someone will go out of business. Now, what happened, we know when a big business opened in one side of town, it took all of the small shops to its place, and then it split the town. Now, I don't want that. So instead of having a thriving mall, we had empty shops. We've got lots of shops. So I'm going to vote against it. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Councillor McMichael, any other councillors wish to speak? Right, let's put it to the vote. All those in favour of accepting the motion as put? 6, 7. That's 7. Those against? I declare the motion carried 7-3. Thank you. Councillors, we will now go to item 12 point 1, which is the notice of motion that Councillor Witters has provided regarding the welcome signage, and details of this are from page 56 of the agenda. Councillor Witters, I'll call on you to move that motion and provide some context.
Yeah, thanks. This is my motion. As well, I wrote the motion with help from others, but it's basically stemmed from my previous motion earlier in the year, in June. I'll try and stay coherent here and get to a point. So if I ramble on, let me know. This is something, again, as I spoke in June, it's something that we need to do. We're a long way behind the times. I originally wanted to recognise all groups within our council boundary, within the black line that creates the council boundary. But this is the first, that was the end point. This is sort of the start point. This gives us a starting point on where to get to that. Again, in my last motion, you can go through and read that. I'm not going to repeat a lot of it. There was enough information in that to show where we are and how we got to today. I want to thank the councillors for going out and seeking community input and increasing their knowledge, I suppose, on stuff. And I suppose the fact that I already know and I'm already at a point and letting you guys sort of get to the point where I was, I suppose that's a lot where my frustrations come out at the last meeting. So I really appreciate the fact that other councillors have gone out and sought information. I think I just want to break this up as well. The first part of it is to put the signs up. It's the majority of the evidence states that what the signs will say. There's a proof there. I do note the concerns from the speakers having blood and cultural ties to the Gumbaynggirr people through my great-grandfather George, who was a fully initiated man of the Gumbaynggirr people. I understand that also utilise in my last motion the Gumbaynggirr language in regards to that. Also noting the history, I appreciate Councillor Robinson's question on time and when was the earliest note from the newspapers, and I appreciate the speaker's answer to that. But Anaiwan culture goes back longer than the 1800s. It's been around longer than that. As I said, all the information and everything, 95% of it, even more, points to this. So we as councillors sometimes have to make contentious decisions and based on the information that we've got. So a good example is the Mayor mentioned some of the financial stuff, some of the water things we've gone through, some of the rates rises. They're all financial. Some of the wood smoke issues, they're all contentious issues that we have to decide on. That's part of our role. And as it says in there, the second part is further consultations and acknowledging the traditional custodians in other villages and other parts of the Armidale Regional Council boundaries. In addition, when council events are held within the Armidale city limits, that it be acknowledged as being held on Anaiwan land. And that just backs up what we're doing with the signs. The signs are only at the old city limits. So anything inside that basically circle or the signage, as an organisation, because if we approve this, as an organisation, we're giving council the direction to do that. Other organisations and other family groups and everything else can do what they feel like. As an organisation for council, this motion states for us to do that. I'll leave it at that, but if I need to come back to some stuff, I will.
Thank you, Councillor Witters. So that's you moving it. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. Councillor Witters, as it's your motion, anything you wish to say, or everything been said? No. It's all. Councillor O'Brien.
Thank you. Look, this can be very heartbreaking stuff because the Indigenous people have suffered so much loss that any that the connections to the past, historical connections, memories, are sometimes all that they've got. And that's why this is a very, very hard thing, and I can understand why it's never got very far in the past, because we come up against people who whose memories and connections are very important to them. But I want to thank the Aboriginal community for prompting us to go down here, to go down this path. It's long overdue that we made some sort of decision here, because every other town, every other local region has managed to get through this really hard stuff and make a decision. And basically the communication, the consultation, the education that's been forwarded to us over the last many months, and we have talked to so many people, and that's been offered to us, and I'm so grateful for that. I support this motion, but with heartache, because I also pay respect to all the Aboriginal people who have lived here for generations and centuries, and they've endured the same colonial dispossession, the same trauma, and they deserve the same respect and compassion. And I am certain, and I am assured, that the fruits of this acknowledgement will flow to all the Aboriginal people in this town. You too are an essential part of the history, and wherever we can acknowledge that in any way, we will do that and should do that, because their history is also central to this town and deserve any benefits that come with this acknowledgement. Remember, this is the first step in future discussions and consultation with the larger area, and we want to ensure that all people's tribal ancestry is acknowledged. This is just one step, because one step has never been taken, and every time it's thwarted, this one step will never be taken. And after hearing everything from many, many local groups, I also want to say that finally I want to congratulate the Anaiwan people for finally achieving what I believe what will happen today, and that is recognition. Your history has been erased for too long, and today that should stop. Reconciliation is about truth-telling. You shared your truth with us, and we should be honour bound to serve that truth. And I certainly hope we will. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. Any other councillors wish to say anything? Councillor Robinson.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank the Gumbaynggirr people for their presentations today. I've listened to both sides. I've attended 3 meetings held with councillors. I've downloaded and read the Coffs Harbour Yarrandirra Shift in Camping Together document by Carol Vale and Matthew Hammond. And I've also read the history of Frank Archibald from Uni's website and elsewhere. And I do really feel for the First Nation people who don't identify as Anaiwan, and but at the same time have lived all their lives in this area, as have their parents and their grandparents, and believe that they certainly feel some connection with the land. And so my primary consideration really is that I do hope we can work around the wording and the signs so that the Gumbaynggirr people as well can retain their connection with the land and this region and feel welcome in this community. And at the moment, I just don't see anything in this motion that might ensure that's happened. I see a lot of goodwill and I see a lot of intention that it will happen. But I'm just a bit wary about supporting the motion before I have a guarantee that this will happen. But at the same time, I'm not sure that I can not support the motion either. So really my only option in this case really is to leave the meeting room while you take the vote. I don't feel qualified to make this decision, unlike some of my eminent colleagues. So I'm a white person who's come from a different part of the world, and I'm a scientist, not a historian. So I will leave the excellent decisions and to the capable decision-making of my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Councillors, anyone else? All right. Councillor Witters, anything to add or finalise as your motion before we go to a vote? No. Thank you.
I spoke enough at the June meeting in regards on why this was where we are today. If anyone wants my thoughts on it, they can go back and watch the June meeting.
Thank you. Okay, councillors, let's put this to the vote. All those in favour of adopting the notice of motion? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. Okay, councillors, we'll now go back and do some just some housekeeping that probably should have been done. Oh, sorry, Councillor Packham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. For item 4, disclosure of interest, I'd like to...
I'm going to go back and do the housekeeping that, that should have been done at the start. So, first of all, councillors, just item 3 there. Apologies and applications for leave of absence. I have received an application for leave from Councillor O'Connor, and I note that Councillor Redwood is joining us remotely via Zoom. Now, thank you. And councillors, disclosure of interests. We'll just let people exit. Thank you. Actually, if anyone else would like to leave, now's probably an apt time. Or if you'd like to wait a moment, I understand. Okay, thank you. All right, councillors, disclosures of interest. So having reviewed the agenda, do any councillors need to declare a conflict of interest?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. As the owner of a business named in the report tabled at 10.1, unaffected, I have a non-pecuniary interest in that report. But having been so named, I shall recuse myself during the vote on that item.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Packham. Councillors, that brings us to item 5.1, the confirmation of the minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 23rd of August 2023. Can I have a mover for what's on the screen? Thank you, Councillor McMichael. And a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Mepham. Councillor McMichael, anything to add? Councillor Mepham? No. All right. All those in favour of accepting those minutes?
Oh, I can't vote because I wasn't there. So.
Thank you. Okay, I declare that that carried 9-0. Council, we don't have any mayoral minutes for this this one. We've already addressed 7.1. That brings us to item 7.2, which is the Council Actions Report. So this report summarises the actions taken on resolutions of Council for the period January 2022 to August 2023. Thank you, Steve. Council is asked to note this report. Details from page 9 of the agenda and page 12 of the attachments. Can I have a mover for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Gadders. And a seconder? Thanks, Councillor Robinson. Anything to say, Councillor Gadders? Councillor Robinson, no. All right, let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Thank you. Councillors, I'll do items 8.1 and 8.2 together. These are the cash and investment reports for the period July 2023 and August 2023. And at August, Council held $99 million in investments and $30 million in cash. Details are from page 10 of the agenda. So Council is being asked to note the report. Can I have a mover for that, please? Thanks, Councillor Packham. And a seconder is Councillor Robinson. Councillor Packham, anything to say? Councillor Robinson? Thank you. Well, let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. Item 9.1. Hang on, I just have to wait for the tech to catch up. Councillors, item 9.1. Details are on page 22 of the agenda and 42 of the attachments, but there is a recommendation on the screen where Council is being asked to endorse the draft Ecological Sustainable Development Framework endorse that for public exhibition and receive a further report at the conclusion of the exhibition period. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Robinson.
If it's possible to move a slightly different motion, which is, and it may come up on the screen, to endorse public exhibition of the draft ecologically sustainable development policy for a period of 21 days and receive a further report following the public exhibition period.
Thank you. So that's the motion that you're moving. 28 days.
It should be 28 days.
Thank you, Councillor Gilletley, for catching
Well
that.
spotted.
Thank you. All right, well, that's the motion. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Thank you, Councillor McMichael. Councillor Robinson, anything to add?
Thank you. This is a great step forward. We really, really need sustainable, ecologically sustainable development. And I think it would be great to get all the input from the community. I've already looked at this policy and even made a few suggestions and passed them on to our planning department. And I hope in the long run, people will accept them and we'll get an even better policy than the one that's in public exhibition. So let's look at the policy, let's put it on public exhibition, get everybody's feedback and come up with the best possible ecologically sustainable development policy for this region, because we really need to reduce our global warming emissions and we really need to make a healthy, sustainable community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Councillor McMichael, anything you'd like to say?
No, just thought I'd go with my fellow councillor. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Councillors, anything to add? Let's put that to the vote. All those for accepting that? All right, I declare that carried unanimously. Thank you. Councillors, item 9.2 is in relation to the proposed New England Future Fund. This fund will become a centrepiece in the revival of our region. It builds on the community benefit sharing framework that we endorsed at the last council meeting. So by way of background, this council has negotiated planning agreements which have delivered a minimum financial contribution of 1.5% of construction value for all of the renewable energy projects. And this sets a new benchmark for the industry as a whole. The idea behind the Future Fund is that it will manage and invest the funds received from these renewable developers to ensure that there is intergenerational benefit across the entire Armidale region. The motion is seeking Council's endorsement to continue the development of the Future Fund and receive a further report in 3 months' time. Now, proposed key aspects of the Future Fund are a board of guardians to oversee the investment of funds and determine the quantum of the annual distribution from the fund, and a community benefit panel, which will allocate a portion of the funds to worthy projects throughout our region. So, in essence, the creation of the Future Fund will enable Armidale Regional Council to develop amenities in our region without the reliance on 100% grant funding. That will give us the confidence to enliven projects which have laid dormant for a long time, as well as take on region building initiatives. And finally, we can become a thriving region that's fully realising its potential. So there is a recommendation on the screen, but can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Gadders, and a seconder can be Councillor O'Brien this time. Councillor Gadders.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few words to follow up on your outline of this particular item. I guess I see the Future Fund is a strategic initiative that will give back to this region for generations to come. Investing the renewable energy contributions while preserving the capital funds will underpin the growth for this community going forward. Instigating good governance through a board of guardians and a community benefit panel will give solid oversight to the operation and the distribution of the profits. I applaud the work of the staff and the participants of the growing Key Pillar Working Group to bring all this together and put it on the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor O'Brien, anything to say as our seconder?
Nothing much except to say that I've seen so many opportunities in the past squandered and ignored by governments. To see such forward thinking, to grab an opportunity and use it for the future, forward thinking and an intelligent move. And I just congratulate the staff and anyone involved. Thank you.
Councillors, anyone else wish to speak?
Yep.
Councillor Witters.
I think this is a good idea. And for one reason and one reason only. It insulates us from pork barrelling a little bit from different governments who like to give money to electorates where their friends are and where they think the votes are needed. So we sometimes miss out on grants and a few other different things. We become self-sufficient in a small way away from silly political games, silly political parties, cults of personalities, all that sort of thing. And it allows this region to actually do something without relying on them.
Thank you, Councillor Witters. Next one up is Councillor Robinson.
Thank you. Well, the composition and management of this fund, which I think is a great idea, and thank you for the staff for doing it, reminds me of another excellent initiative of a fund that was administered by the Clean Energy Council. And that fund not only invested in renewable energy, it made super duper profits, which could then be used to return benefits to the fund and achieve reductions in global warming at the same time. So it was a win-win fund. It invested in renewable energy. The renewable energy was a great benefit to all the community and all energy users. And at the same time, the profits were dedicated to our future. So if we can replicate those wonderful initiatives, then we will be onto a winner. And this region you won't be able to see the end of this region. Will be going will be so good. It'll be unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Councillor McMichael.
Look, I agree with my fellow councillors, and I think it will give community members and the council a great way to plan and strategise for ideas about the region, rather than having to, as someone said, put in a grant application and hope and pray and wish, and that doesn't work. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor McMichael. And Councillor Redwood.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, what a fantastic opportunity for us as a region to be able to make the most of something that was foisted upon us, not a decision that we made, but something that we can use to benefit our community intergenerationally. So fully supportive and yeah, congratulations to all involved.
Thank you. All right, councillors, if there are no further comments, let's put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Councillors, item 9.4 is in relation to the gazettal of roads for subdivision. Details are from page 37 of the agenda, and there is a recommendation on the screen that council approve and endorse a gazettal transfer of certain Crown Road reserves to council to be the controlling entity. Councillor, can I have a mover, which will be Councillor Robinson, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Mepham. Councillor Robinson.
No, this is another thing that should have been done a long time ago, because it makes sense that we own all these roads and we maintain them. So let's have them formally in our ownership. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mepham, no. Any councillors wish to speak? All right, let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. We now come to item 10.1, of which Councillor Packham will recuse himself. The purpose of this report is to note, so this is on 10.1, is to note the prospective new tenant, the alternate route at the Armidale Regional Airport as a cafe tenant. Details are from page 40 of the agenda. And in addition to noting the new proponent, council is also being asked to endorse the conditions of the proposed lease. So Could I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Galletley, and a seconder. Thanks, Councillor Gadders. Councillor Galletley.
Look, this is good, even though it's probably out of our boundary. But we all know the trouble we've been having getting someone in there, and I think we're fairly generous in what we're doing, but we want it to succeed. And I think looking at the alternative route down there, it's pretty successful. So I think the old quote, success breeds success. So hopefully we will have a very successful cafe there where you can get a beer as well, which is very important, I think.
So you will be pleased to note the last part of their recommendation. Excellent. Point D. Councillor Gadders, nothing. All right. Councillors, any comment? Let's put this to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. Simone, as you're closest to the door, could you ask for Councillor Packham to return? Okay, item 10.2 is a review of the ARIC Charter. So this item is seeking the endorsement of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee Charter, which was endorsed by that committee at their meeting on the 15th of September 2023. Details of this are from page 44 of the agenda and page 80 of the attachments. There is a recommendation on the screen. However, do I have a mover? Councillor Packham, what would you like to do?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to move that this item be deferred to the October OCM in recognition of the excellent work that the ARIC do on behalf of this governing council. I think it's very important that we give credence to the, sorry, I am speaking to before I'll put the motion, give credence to the terms of reference in which they operate under those guises. And so I would like to, as I said, defer to the October OCM with a workshop of all interested councils be held within 2 weeks of this meeting to discuss and potentially make recommendation changes to the draft.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Packham. Having Councillor Robinson as a seconder there. So now it is afoot. Anything you'd like to expand on, Councillor Packham?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor. I think unless a reply or a question.
All good. Councillor Robinson? No, thank you. Councillors, anyone wish to speak to this? All right, let's put it to a vote. The motion is on the screen. To defer. Yeah, it's not a defer. Yes, we are moving. The motion that is live is a deferral, which Councillor Packham moved and Councillor Robinson seconded. Yes, thank you. Councillor Redwood, where are you? Okay, I declare that carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, councillors, item 11.1 is the Kempsey Road status report, which is a regular monthly report from the in regards to the Armidale Kempsey Road restoration project. Council is being asked to note the information contained in the report, including minutes from the recent monthly steering committee. So details are from page 46 of the agenda. Can I have a mover for the motion, please? Thank you, Councillor Robinson, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Witters. Councillor Robinson, anything to say?
No, just expect a good policy next month.
Thank you. Councillor Witters? All right. Councillors, let's put this to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. Councillors, item 11.2 is an update on the stocks and grids policy. It really is a placeholder. This policy was due to be presented to this September Ordinary Council meeting, but the policy really just, this item notes a deferral to the October OCM with details from page 53 of the agenda. Can I have a mover for this, please? Thanks, Councillor McMichael. Seconded by Councillor Redwood, who is on that committee. Councillor McMichael, anything to say?
Just to say that I know that people might want the policy out right now because it's been going around for a while, but it is really important to dot the I's and cross the T's and make sure that we have all the advice we need, and that it's good to wait a month and get all the advice available. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McMichael. Councillor Redwood is our seconder.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, this was an important process to go through, and as Councillor McMichael's indicated, this is a bit long in the tooth, but we figured that it was better to do it properly with full consultation. We've received a lot of information back from affected parties, and we'll be putting together another draft of the policy that will come to the next meeting. So there has been extensive work done on this item, and it'll be good to try and finalise that before the year is out.
Thanks very much, Councillor Redwood. Councillors, anyone else wish to speak to this? All right, let's put that to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously as well. We now jump to the 13 series. I'd like to take items 13.1 and 13.3 together. These are the two sets of minutes from the Traffic Committee. So one's one from the 4th of July, 4th of August, and another one from the 5th of September 2023, with details from page 57 of the agenda and 176 of the attachments. Can I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor McMichael. A seconder, thank you, Councillor Robinson. Councillor McMichael, there's actually a bit in the minutes.
There's lots in the minutes. There are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of events happening in this town. It's absolutely fabulous. Everything from Troutfest to the Hunter River Lancers are having their 75th anniversary, and they're going to do a parade, Freedom of the City parade. I would just say that the Traffic Committee appreciates everybody's events, but when you take something to the Traffic Committee, we have to take it to the police and the Roads and Maritime Services and the council and other bodies who are interested. And so if it goes backwards and forwards and sideways and so forth, it takes some time. So we are going to send out a calendar to all community events and everyone who's interested to say that if your event's due in September, then your papers, of which there are a lot, are due like some significant weeks back, as a reminder, so that the people don't have their events cancelled due to bureaucracy, which it could be. But thanks to everyone for all their events. I'll look forward to going to Halloween in October and Troutfest on the weekend and all kinds of fabulous things, and it's been terrific.
Thank you, Councillor McMichael. I can't recall who the second. Was Councillor Robinson anything to add? Right. Let's put this to the vote. All those in favour of accepting those minutes, I declare that carried unanimously. And then item 13.2 was the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee minutes from the 15th of August 2023. Where Council again is being asked to note the minutes, details from page 60 of the agenda and 93 of the attachments. Can I have a mover for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Mepham, and seconded by Councillor Robinson. Councillor Mepham, anything to say? Councillor Robinson?
No, very interesting, thank you.
Good stuff. Councillors, let's put that to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. Now, Councillors, that brings us to the end of the open session. Thank you. I'd like to move us into the closed session. So can I please have a motion to move into closed session, and if resolved, we'll crack on with it. So Councillor Galletley is moved it, Councillor O'Brien has seconded it. All those in favour of moving into closed? Thank you. I declare that motion carried unanimously. Could I ask any members of the gallery or the public to exit the chamber? Okay. Right, I welcome councillors back into the open session and ask the Acting General Manager to read out the resolutions of the closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In relation to item 15.1, Council resolved that Council A endorse the procurement strategy for further utilisation as and when required by Council's Kempsey Road project team of the Kempsey Shire Council's arrangement with GHD under the Provision and Project Management and Engineering Services 2021 request for quote for the period of the contract to its expiry on 31 July 2024, or alternatively to the extended contract expiry date. B, delegate authority to the General Manager to authorise expenditure under the contract to an upper limit of funding available for the project as approved by the Administrating Agency Transport for New South Wales. C, delegate authority to the General Manager to approve variations up to the upper limit funding for any additional works carried out by GHD under the contract. In relation to item 15.2, Council resolved that Council A endorse the procurement strategy with Clayton Utz to provide continual support for the Kempsey Armidale Road restoration project by variation of contract. B, delegate authority to the General Manager to authorise expenditure under the contract to an upper limit of funding available for the project as approved by the Administrating Agency Transport for New South Wales. And C, delegate authority to the General Manager to approve variations up to the upper limit funding for any additional works carried out by Clayton Utz under the contract. In relation to item 15.3, Council resolved that Council A endorse the procurement strategy for Seymour White Constructions Proprietary Limited to provide continual support for the Kempsey Armidale Road restoration project by variation of contract for an additional $2,502,855.27 excluding GST. B, delegate authority to the General Manager to authorise expenditure under the contract to an upper limit of funding available for the project as approved by the Administrating Agency Transport for New South Wales. And C, delegate authority to the General Manager to approve variations up to the upper limit funding for any additional works carried out by Seymour White Constructions under the contract. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Acting General Manager. Well, there being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 5:01. Thank you very much.